If your small business has a website, I think that's a great place to invest money to have high-end video, high-end imagery on your website.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so I mean that could be.
This is the Ask the BCE Show, episode 41. I'm your host, Kurt Belding, and I am the Blue Collar Entrepreneur. This week, we're going to talk about, this BCE Show, we're going to talk about content marketing and why that's important, when you should use it, who should use it. And I brought on a guest today, Reese ST.Germain. He is my guy. He produces, develops 99.9% of all of our content for our content marketing. So if you guys have some questions here live, throw them at Reese. Reese, give me some background, dude. You've been with me for about 4 years now, right?
Yeah, about
4.
3 and 3.5, but yeah, close enough.
We'll round up to 4.
Background, I mean...
How'd you get into video stuff?
I mean, I went to school a long time ago for photography, video, did the traditional 4-year university route, did that, got out of school and just started working in the industry and was more heavily focused on photo. Mm-hmm. And then just slowly seeing how the industry is moving. People needed more hybrid shooters. People needed, a lot more video content. I kind of just started transitioning back into doing more video and photo at the same time. But that's kind of how I got into it. Just school, the traditional route, and then just working in the industry, meeting a lot of different people.
If you're if you're out there and you are thinking about being either a photographer, videographer, or wanting to create content, do you have to go to school for that?
I think it depends. I knew right away that you don't have to go to school to work in a lot of creative industries, whatever it is, graphic design. It's nice, if you're applying for certain jobs, sometimes people want to see you have a BFA, they want to see you have some sort of degree, or...
What does BFA stand for?
A Bachelor of Fine Arts, or whatever,
okay.
Just a degree related to whatever it is, you're going into. You don't have to nowadays. You can learn so much stuff on YouTube. You can just try to work with photographers, videographers for free as an assistant, just to gain experience. There's a ton of different routes you can take, to get what you would learn in school. But for me, I was always kind of like, I need to get my degree because I might want to teach college, high school, something one day. So I was like, I wanted to work in the industry when I got out right away. But in case I wanted to teach, I had that out of the way. I just have to get my master's if I want to now. Right. So you can learn a lot now. I think the biggest thing with doing anything and with photo, video is just... using this resources you have, which is YouTube. B, just practicing a shit ton on your own. And just, then if you want to reach out and try to work with people and learn that way, just through the industry. So no, long answer, to your question, but no, you don't have to if you don't want to. But like I said, it depends on what route you want to go. Yeah. I had no idea I'd end up in more of a commercial field. I was going to school to learn fine art stuff. Mm-hmm. That's all, that's
what you want to do.
Well, so I was like, okay, maybe teach if I want to, but I was more trying to learn how to be a gallery artist. So just way different than, say, making a pretty picture for a company. We were going and you're learning how to photograph life. You're writing theses about what you're taking photos of, trying to learn the business of being working in an art gallery as an artist. It's a whole different thing. So that's kind of what I initially started out, and I showed a lot of stuff in galleries and showed some stuff across, actually, like in Amsterdam and Germany and stuff, and I was really into that. But then I met somebody who was a commercial photographer, and I was like, well, yeah, I want to see what this world's like. And then I got sucked into that.
Tell me about getting sucked in. What do you mean?
Money
in? Is there more money in commercial photography than like the...
It just depends. I mean, if you're like a, top of the line fine art photographer and you're selling your prints for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and sure, I mean, you can make a lot of money doing that. But yeah, I mean, generally there's probably more. It's probably easier, which is still really hard to do, to make money in the commercial side of photography and video. But there's probably a little bit more opportunities or more, avenues to do that. You can do wedding photography, you can do corporate headshots. There's more paths you can take. Mm-hmm. But no, I met somebody who was a commercial photographer. I wanted to kind of see what it's about. I went and worked with him in his studio. He had a big shoot going on. There's this whole production. I was, young, and I was like, oh, this is cool. I was so used to doing, my projects, working on more of my art in small ways, and I saw this, and I was like, oh, I want to learn this. Mm-hmm. I hit it off with this guy. And so I just worked for him for a good year for free. I would just go work with him on set, learn this stuff. He taught me a ton of stuff about the business side of that, and then I just kept doing that, Yeah. And I got more sucked into the commercial stuff.
Let me hit on that real quick, is working for free to learn. Like, that is so undervalued with people.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to learn something, like, you're paying that school to teach you whatever you're trying to learn, right? If you're going to college, or if that's the route you want to go. But like Ian, for example, like Ian's learning a lot under your tutelage, and that is so valuable. If you're out there and you want to learn a new trade, or you want to learn anything, go work for someone for free, put in a year's worth of work, and you're going to learn so much hands-on. Yeah, you're working for free, but you're not paying for the education.
No.
You're just not getting money for it, right? And you shouldn't yet.
Yeah, and if you're
I'm not going to pay you anymore.
Yeah, you're not getting paid anymore.
You shouldn't be getting paid right now.
Bro, you should be paying us. But yeah, I mean, if you're just a good hard worker, 90% of the people in the creative industry, at least in Denver, are super nice, and they will, if you, like I said, if you're just cool, they'll welcome you in. Sure. And I didn't even work, this is working every once in a while for him on a shoot that he had for free. Yeah. I got to a point where he was a good enough dude. He's like, all right, now I've been teaching, you've been helping me out on shoots for the past however long. I can't not pay you anymore. So now any job I have, I'll start paying you your day rate as an assistant.
Yeah.
So I mean, you go that route. Yeah, you got to put in a little bit of time. I mean, I was still working. I think I was finishing college, working full time, then going and doing that stuff. So some days I would literally, and I was a bartender. I just turned 21. I was working at 6 in till about 4 o'clock. Then I'd go to work at the bar from like 5 to 2, 3 in the morning, and I'd do that multiple days. But I just wanted to learn, have that opportunity with them, and then I just slowly transitioned out.
You can do that when you're young.
Oh God, yeah.
Can't do that
no, not anymore. God, no.
So hey, let's make a quick little switch, a little change. Let's talk about the industry right now and how fast it's moving, changing, and growing, and where it's going into. What's your thoughts?
I mean, just in general, like, people just want more and more digital content to consume. I mean, it's just becoming a basic standard for any company. The younger generations are just expecting these people to have tons of content for consumption about who their company is, the lifestyle of the company. They're expecting, there's now a pretty high standard quality of image that's now being, needed by companies because of cell phones, and technology has made it easier to take nicer photos. So I mean, the standard's just going up for these younger generations. I think they're just expecting more content and quality content. It's just where the digital age is going for everything.
Yeah, I agree. I think for me it feels like it's changing so fast. I remember when there was no cell phone, there was no internet. I'm old as hell.
Did they have TVs when you were growing up?
Black and white. No, they had TVs, but like. So for me, it feels like it's moving really fast into how consumers consume content.
Oh, yeah.
And how I would say video and video audio is probably 90% of how people consume content.
Yeah.
So if you have a business and you want to represent your brand in a specific way, if you want to get in front of your consumer and continue talking to your consumer, content marketing is the number one way to market. I believe that's why I have you on staff, and that's why we produce content on a regular basis every day. I've got you and Ian working super hard and always producing content.
Yeah. Oh,
right?
yeah.
So now here's the question, because I guarantee you there's people out there like, yeah, but I got an iPhone. I got the new, what is it, the new iPhone?
11?
The new iPhone, 11?
I think it's 11.
Yeah, 11 I don't know.
See, it goes fast. I think mine is still like the 6 or 7.
Yeah.
I got a new iPhone 11, and the pictures are awesome. My video is awesome. I have this app that I can edit my videos and stuff like that. Tell me your thoughts on that. Should companies just use their iPhone and the 20-year-old intern that knows how to edit a video from an app, or should they hire videographers like yourself?
I mean, I'm always going to go hire videographers.
Yeah, because you want to make money.
But yeah, I mean, but the honest answer is, I mean, I think they should utilize both, and it just depends on where you're at too as a company. The thing, I mean, that we've talked about too, is it's always going to take a bunch of time to do something, to make content, no matter which avenue you take it. You shoot 20 hours of video on your cell phone, you still have 20 hours of footage to go through from your cell phone, which takes a lot of time. Granted, 20 hours is a lot. But yeah, I would say utilize both. If you have the budget to use somebody who has got more experience, they have better technology, and they have, just you have the money to do it, then by all means do it, because I think it's going to benefit your business. If you're super small, then try to do it on your own and utilize whatever technologies you have. But I mean, I'm always pro using experienced people to create content, because it's gonna pay off in the long run. And here's the chance you run: if you just hire somebody and you have them work on it for free, you may not get shit from them. Right. They might have wasted so much of your time because you're like, hey, will you make this for me? You spend all this time trying to teach them or kind of mentor them in terms of what you want to create, and then they just can never do it, and then you just waste a lot of time. So a lot of times you're going to be able to save time even though you're spending money, but then that may eventually actually end up saving you money if you just spend the initial cost for production.
Right.
Because you're getting pros that know how to do it better than, say, that 20-year-old intern. You know what I mean? Yeah. If you have the budget. But that's always the big question. Do you have the budget?
Do you have the budget?
Yeah.
And I think you should have the budget. If you don't have the budget, figure out how to get the budget, right?
Yeah.
Like get it done, because here's my belief on content marketing. Like, I think content marketing is the number one way to market because of the branding that you can accomplish with content marketing. It's all about branding. The internet has basically made every product a commodity, where you can find almost every product out there in services on the internet, on Amazon, or whatever. It's a commodity. But what will really separate your business is your branding, is your voice, is your brand image, is the feel of your brand. So we've always had the philosophy of, okay, obviously we're going to do a lot of content marketing. How do you do that? Do you hire a videographer, bring them on staff, and produce high-end stuff all the time? That's great. I think that gives you a nice perception of your brand. You always have nice images, you always have nice videos that represent your brand as a high-end brand. But I also think that you need to be doing your medium grade video and your super raw videos, which is cell phone videos, because that's super genuine. It can show personality of your employees. For take an example, Instagram stories, Facebook stories. That's a great time to use the raw cell phone video and show your personality of the company. So I think content creation or content marketing is the future. I think you need to do a ton of content. And like you said, if you're not a big company, you don't have a big budget, start out with a cell phone, do the best you can, produce a lot of raw content, a lot of raw video, but you're going to want to pop a high-end video or some high-end images every once in a while to keep your brand integrity as a high-quality brand.
Oh, yeah,
right?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. It all depends on what for us, it works really well to use, because we have, you have employees that are working the store, you have people that are working in the kitchen. It's really, for us, it works really effectively to use that low to medium grade footage or content, because the nature of your companies. You want to show that culture in companies. Some companies maybe don't even need that, but it's still, you never just don't want to. You want to use everything you can.
Yeah, my thought, man, is like I think every company should show the culture of their company, because consumers want to know who they're buying from. You know what I mean? Like, even if a big company of like Nike, I think it'd be super cool if Nike showed a little bit of their personalities of their CEO, COO, everyday factory, everyday worker. Like, just show a little bit of personality, who you are as a brand and who's behind the scenes. I think that would go a long way with building their brand.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't need any help, but like future, they may need help in the future. So
yeah.
All right. We have any questions that come across, Ian?
Like that I've thought of?
And what have you thought of, Ian?
You guys answered like all of them in that
really
beautiful conversation.
Oh, perfect.
I guess like investing more in gear other than people. Do you think it's necessary to really invest in the gear for your team, or do you think you don't really need a full production set of gear? You can kind of just do it off of cheaper cameras.
I mean, I think...
Let's repeat the question. So the question is, because these guys can't hear. Yeah. So the question is, do you hire more people or invest money into gear with the people that you have? Isn't that, you're assuming it's in-house content creation, right? Like, or is this maybe you're doing it yourself for your small company or for your personal brand? Do you hire people or do you invest money into gear?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, is it really, like, I guess, necessary to spend the big bucks on like a black magic camera or like a big mirrorless camera, or is it alright to just, for like these smaller companies, to just go off of, you know, a cheaper setup?
I mean, I think now with technology, you can spend a little bit of money and get really nice technology. You know, like we were talking about, you could even use your phone. I mean, I think it's a pretty multi-layered question because I mean, it just depends on what you're trying to go for. Obviously, for like say us, you know, I still do a lot of jobs for other bigger companies, and those people are expecting the crew and the technology to be at a certain level. I think if you're doing stuff in-house, if you have the ability to have nicer gear, that's great. But, you know, if you don't, like we were talking about before, you can make some nice stuff with your cell phones and whatnot. But I mean, I'm a gearhead when it comes to stuff. I love it. I love buying new shit. I love learning the new technology. So I'm always like pro, have the nice stuff if you can. You know what I mean? But doesn't mean, like, I always tell people this too. I have a lot of gear. I use a good amount of it sometimes. Sometimes I'm just using a very simple setup and I can still make some really cool things. But, you know, like I said, I like having gear, but you can make really cool stuff with simple setups nowadays. You know, you can invest $700 in a digital camera with a basic stock lens and a mic, and you can make some really nice content. You know what I mean? I think you guys learned that even on your hunting trip.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you had to utilize what you had because Ian's camera was dying from the cold, but you're still able to capture something really nice and put it together. It did take you a long time to edit that video. That was where a majority of, you know, the labor went, but you still got nice stuff done with not going out there with a $15,000 red camera. You know what I mean? You're still able to tell a cool story. You know.
Here's what scares me about buying equipment, especially cameras.
Yeah.
Is technology goes so fast, man. Like there's new stuff always coming out. So what's the speed right now? If we bought a brand new camera to start capturing content, when is that outdated?
I'd say within 3 years, the initial price you bought your camera for, whatever it is, especially camera bodies, is going to be cut in half. So, you know, I bought one of my first cameras I paid $3,500 for. Now I can get like $1,200 for it because it's depreciated so much in value.
But you can still shoot video effectively 3 years after buying that.
Oh yeah,
When
sure.
do you need to upgrade? It's like, I can't shoot effective video because the technology is so much advanced.
I mean, you can still make great things with older technology. It's just, if you're already invested that heavily into gear, like there's just new features that are coming out, newer things that make it easier to shoot stuff. So you want to upgrade. You know, it's actually really difficult because you as a photographer, videographer, you have to constantly watch the market, see where technology is going, and it's almost like with stocks a little bit. You're like, when can I, you know, maybe not like stocks, but when can I sell my camera? I know I'm losing money off of it, like from what I paid for it, even though you made money with it, right?
Right.
But say you bought it for $3,500. When can I sell it, you know, at a good time to maybe make $2,500 back from it to invest in a new gear that's going to be $4,500, which then I have to spend that extra money to get the new gear. It's a kind of a mind fuck. That's one of the most frustrating parts, I think, for me, because you have to watch it and stay on top of it all the time.
Right.
You know, back in the day, you know, photographers, they would invest $30,000 into a film kit, and that'd be their career-long image
They'd
making
have it until they
machine.
retired.
Yeah, till they were 70, 80 years old. So yeah, I don't know. It's tough. I mean, like I said, you just have to constantly be watching and know when to sell if you're really looking to upgrade. And for me, I always have to constantly be doing that. You know, every day almost I look at what's coming out next. When should I sell? You know, when should I start thinking of selling this technology to upgrade? So it's something we're all going to have to do too. You know.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right, I got a question I come across. I'm going to paraphrase it. So they own a small business now. How do they start with content creation, and what type of content should they produce?
I think this is a good question for you because you've been, you know, in their position. You know.
Yeah. So you own a small business. It depends on what business that you're in, but like absolutely start right now producing content for your business because that builds brand of your business. And I think depending on your budget, you start right now with your cell phone.
Yeah.
There's so many platforms you can upload content straight from the cell phone. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I don't know, what are some other Snapchat? That's content right there. That's producing content for your small business. I think that as you can budget, websites. Like if your small business has a website, I think that's a great place to invest money to have high-end video, high-end imagery on your website.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so I mean that could be a lot of times somebody's first time seeing you, and that's the first. Literally, that landing page is the first time they're going to have an idea of who you are as a company.
Yeah, that's your first impression.
Super important to have that, and then you can house all your other material that's maybe not as high end or whatever in the website somewhere, kind of like what we do,
Yeah. So we house most of it on YouTube, like our long form videos,
long form stuff,
and short stuff on Instagram, videos on, but like our nice stuff is, and that's our nice stuff's on our website. But if you own a business and you're producing content on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, the funnel form, how this works is people watch that content, but what you're trying to do is you want them to end up on your website.
Yeah.
That's really what the end funnel is, either website or shopping cart. If you're selling on like Shopify from social, okay, cool, but that's where they're ending up, Shopify website, and that's really the impression, like, and it has to function well too.
Yeah.
So if someone likes a 30-second piece of content that you've created and put it on Instagram, it funnels to your website, but your website doesn't function well, doesn't give a good perception, it looks old and outdated, they're not going to stay on there very long.
No, first
and you're not going to get the
impressions.
sale.
First impressions, everything.
It's
They're
everything.
Like, nope. Well, that's that company.
Which is why it's so important to have high-end content
Yeah.
on your website.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and just starting to learn the tools too, because as a small business owner, like you said, I mean, you don't think about learning the editing software. Maybe just start poking around in that too. If you're going to start making your own content, start looking at free programs you can use and start learning it now. So you're already getting started making content, because that could be a huge learning curve. Is like you make some nice stuff, you want to make content, and then like, oh, I have to learn this software, and then you get discouraged, and then you want to stop making it. It's just better to just be ahead of it all and just start learning now if you can.
So if you're out there right now, let the listeners know, throw them a bone. They want to start editing their own videos. If there's a free software out there, which one do you recommend?
Yeah, I mean, a free one that's great is DaVinci Resolve. It's a really high-end free software that you can use. It doesn't have all the pro features that, say, like I would use, but just for simple video editing, it's great. And like I said, it doesn't cost anything. You could also use iMovie too. There's a little bit of a learning curve to that, but if you have a Mac and it's already preloaded in your computer, start messing around with that. Start learning with that. It's free.
I used iMovie.
I know. I was proud of you. I was proud.
I've never tried DaVinci though. Like, is that something you think I could like? My skill level of editing and video is like way down here. So.
Oh, you absolutely could. You know. And now once again, I think this comes back full circle to you can learn so much on YouTube. Talking about like, can you learn how to be a photographer? Can you learn how to do video? Yeah, you have a plethora of information just readily available to you on YouTube that can pertain to any program you want to use for editing. So yeah, I mean, just do it. Jump on. You have questions, Google it. On YouTube, you'll probably find a video that explains it to you within 20, 30 seconds of doing your search. Yep. It's as easy as that. It's
a new age, man. Like it's content's everything, and you can learn how to produce content on a YouTube video. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like business 10 years ago, you couldn't do that.
No.
So anybody could and should be successful in business. Start producing content. Lots of it. So, anything else? No other questions that we need?
Questions, Pop.
Roman, you got a question?
Yeah, Roman, what do you got?
How do you get rid of someone without getting caught?
How do you kill someone without getting caught?
Just look it up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Didn't you just listen to what I said?
YouTube, but just don't film it.
Yeah.
Don't put out content.
How do I know that I did it?
All right, guys. That was the Ask the BCE Show, episode 41. Thank you so much for listening. You guys live, hit us up with some questions next time. We will answer them. Thanks a lot.